That man's an imposter. That man is the imposter.
Seems like LGBTQ content is banned in Spider-Man 2. Of course not in the United States, but definitely in the Middle East, which is a peculiar business strategy for a company that champions itself as a fighter and defender of any marginalized community rights, specifically the LGBTQ community. So it's an interesting business tactic that I don't fault them for doing, but now I question their basis of being such an activist organization when you're willing to ban this content in overseas markets. And I think this is something where people are going to ridicule them for, specifically when we go see this content in the American version of this game, where we have flags everywhere. We have Ukrainian flags, we have rainbow flags, we have every single community. I don't even know these community flags, but they're there, they're represented, and they proudly state this whenever someone challenges them on Twitter or any interviews where they're saying, "Oh, we're defenders of this community. We always promote it. You're a terrible person for wanting this not in this product. You're evil." And then they do the opposite in the Middle East, where you see them eliminating some of these representations of these communities from specific sites where you just don't see it anywhere. You don't see the flags anywhere. They're removed. Everything is deleted. The dialogue sequences where you have people interacting, mentioning their particular gender preference, those things are deleted from the game when it comes to the Middle East version of this. And I think this is a smart strategy from a business standpoint. When you represent yourself as a political activist organization that's trying to influence different communities to accept other people, this is not the way you're supposed to go about it. And I think specifically when you're trying to say everyone else is evil for not being subjected to the material you're putting out there, when you clearly realize people don't believe in the same things you do, and you're willing to adapt to that culture and adjust to make a profit. So this is hypocritical to see these organizations, these game developers who chastise the community that rejects some of their games, do the very thing that community is asking them to do, to actually limit the view of this content, or have the option to change or just delete it from the game. And they do this for Middle Eastern countries, and they do it for the profit to increase how much they're selling. And I think this is the level of honesty people just want. We know you want money, and deliver on that, at least that option that people are asking for, where they don't have to be inundated with this content. Of course, for me, I know people that are hating on Spider-Man 2 right now. I guess I'm one of those haters. I don't think it's a good game, as good as it could be, because it's overly focusing on these ideas of representation politics. But even if you delete the dialogue, I think the game itself is subpar because of that focus, because you can tell the developers were more focused on, we got to have representation, we got to have equalization of these marginalized communities. You can tell it was in the focus of the game, where it just makes the story less impactful, less interesting, things are less engaging. And for me in general, I just don't really like the game story at all. I think Miles Morales is useless in the game. I think he's a distraction in the game, where he doesn't even really fit the overall vibe of the game. He's just a person that interrupts the flow of the game. And I think that is the way I feel about Miles Morales himself. And I'm thinking, is it going to be any better if you delete some of these representation parts and these scenes and this dialogue and flags? No, I think it's still going to be the same game. I still have my same problems, because from the inception of the game, you can tell they were thinking about, okay, we have to have representation. We got to do this for politics' sake. And I think it seeps into the game. I think it downgrades the whole overall quality of the game, at least for me. I know other people enjoy it, and that's good for them. They should be able to enjoy what they like. And I think a big negative for me is just Miles Morales. I just feel like he's just a Mary Sue almost. He just has so much powers and so much things that just make him overall like a cheat code in every situation. It just doesn't make the game as interesting and as fun. It just diminishes Peter Parker in every situation. And I think that's the overall idea of Miles Morales in the comic book. He's overpowered, and whenever he needs a power, he gets a superpower that he needs, whether it's lightning, invisibility, anything. He gets any power he needs at any specific moment. And I think that's just not an interesting character where you can just conjure up random abilities. And I feel like this game personifies that in Miles Morales, where I can't even really identify with the character because he has very few weaknesses, and he always has the thing you need at the right time. He can't do anything wrong. And I think that is another error in the creation of this game, where I feel like it's missing something from the core of the overall quality of the game, where it doesn't matter if you take out the representation marks, the gender preferences of different characters, and maybe the Latinx language barrier things they're adding in. It doesn't matter. It's at the core of the game is something that is just intractably bad. I think it seeps throughout all the games. So even if they made this change for the Middle Eastern product, probably those people over there may enjoy it, other people here may enjoy it. For me, there's just something missing overall at the core of the game, where I can't say it is that good to me. I don't think it's that interesting enough. At least the story is too plain and boring. I can't say this is an upgrade, but other people will say it's an upgrade. But I think it's just hypocritical of the game developers that are always trying to say, oh, you're evil for not liking this, you shouldn't do this, and we're never going to remove it. Mod sites are banning things, like you can't remove any content in here, and they just remove the content themselves when they're selling it to a different market that says we don't believe that. And I think that is something a game company should do. You should respect people that don't believe in the same things that you believe in, because the things you believe in are not universal. Other people will not believe in it. They will never believe in it. And I think that's something people have to accept, that, oh, okay, this person, this is the way they are. We can't really change their mind. They don't believe in this. It will give them the option to maybe take this out, maybe take that out, and have a different experience with the game, because that's the whole point of creating a game. Creating experiences that people want to be involved with. And I think for the most part, this is a problem we have seen that's been building over a long period of time, where we see it's just a lot of people with political mindsets that are influencing the gaming industry. And I have to say another thing about this game, I just don't like the flying part of the game, the gliding, because it just feels like now we're in a Superman simulator. But I just had to add that in there because I find that annoying that the Spider-Man is flying everywhere. It's just, this is a Spider-Man game. Can we please just keep it Spider-Man? But anyways, besides that, I feel like just the overall game experience for me just is not that intriguing. I think Spider-Man 1 was the gold standard. I think they reduced the game mechanics in such a way where it's too simplified. You don't have the same gadgets. I just don't really like the overall feel of this game, and it's just too safe in the places it shouldn't be safe in, which I mean is like the fighting mechanics. It's just, it feels simpler, not as engaging. What do you think about this situation? Do you think they're a hypocritical organization, Insomniac, for removing this LGBTQ content in the Middle East? Of course, I think that's the case, but maybe you disagree with me. I think it's hypocritical, but leave your comments. Tell me what you think. Like, share, and subscribe. This is Wagner Knows Why. Catch you next time.